whoever will be late will be joining us. Third module is very interesting because it is like Bhim na gadana apne the Bhim na hai. So this is the management, medical management of diabetes, by which we treat our patients. So what is the objective? To have a brief understanding and different pharmacological treatment modalities of the diabetes. Whatever weapons are there with our armament. To understand various oral anti-diabetic therapies, the types and methods of administering insulin. The most important thing is that some of the drugs we might not be using in day-to-day practice. But when a patient comes to you with that medication in his hand, you should know what is the mechanism of action, how is it working, what are the adverse effects, and how we can modify the dosage. So what is our role? Our role is to explain the importance of medication in overall diabetes management. We have to explain the patient why we are giving emphasis of taking this tablet at this time, particular this time. Making the patient understand how and when to take medicines and importance of timely and regular drug and insulin intake. Some medications are to be taken before meals, some medications are to be taken after meals, that we have to explain to the patient. To train patient on how to take insulin injection. The most important thing is to teach a patient how to take insulin. And 90% of the consultants are not doing this. They just write the insulin and tell the patient that you take the insulin. And it's a pity that 90% of the family physicians are giving insulin with a wrong method. So ultimately the patient lands up in wasting the money behind the insulin and not getting the effect of the insulin. Discuss the common adverse effect of anti-diabetic medications. If you are prescribing anti-diabetic medications and you are not telling the patient about the hypoglycemia, then we are creating a trap. Ways to minimize the same, thereby improving the patient's adherence and compliance. This is very important. If the patient is not comfortable with the treatment, he will not go a long way. He will just drop it. So, as we go in every module, we go to the pre-test. One needs to take medication lifelong in diabetes. True or false? True. True. But some of the diabetes, like gestational diabetes, patient becomes non-diabetic after a delivery. So at that time, you can stop the treatment. Diabetes can only be treated with insulin. True or false? False. False. But as the diabetic patient advances, as the type 2 patient, the duration of the type 2 increases, the patient tends to behave like a type 1 diabetic and you have to give insulin. If a patient misses his medication dose, he should take twice the dose next time. Now this is the biggest problem. Khas karine Jain community. Ekasna, Vesna, aaj na lidu to kale double. So he may be doing it in a diet, aaj nahi to kale double na khao, but not in medications. Home remedies can be substituted for holy medications. No. Karela, Mamejo, Methi. I have to tell the patient that Karela ni bukhar hoy nahi hai the line is less. So it is not important that you control everything by the home remedies. The funny thing is, the patient who is not ready to take few millimeter tablet can take kilos of Karela. He has no problem with that because they think that everything natural is good. Timing of food intake and medications are not connected. So this is most important thing. Exam ni 20 minute pehla ya wachalu puchai jaye to maine pachadiya ho. Every day some medication has to be given with a particular time. Insulin usage can never cause hypoglycemia. False. It never nahi hamesha correct because it is a hypoglycemic agent. Anti-diabetic medication should be avoided during fasting. False. Now this is half true, half false. Some of the medications, suppose the patient is on insulin and he is heavily diabetic. If he skips one dose of insulin, he lands up into a ketoacidosis. So the best advice is don't do fasting. બરાબર તમે એટલા બધા પુણ્યો કર્યા છે કે તમે ડાયાબિટીક થઈ ગયા છો હવે વધારે પુણ્યો કમાવાની જરૂર નથી કળિયુગમાં so don't do fasting. One or more drugs can be combined to treat diabetes. So diabetes treatment is like anti-tuberculous treatment. If you see the AKT, you cannot give rifampicin, you cannot give INS, you cannot give pyrazinamide alone. You have to combine. Same way in treatment of diabetes, you cannot treat any diabetic patient with a single agent. You have to combine. We will see that. So always combination is required. Once the medication is started, the patient can start having sugar. Now this is the biggest misconception in the minds of a patient. કે સાહેબ આજે લાડવો ખાતો ને તો ગ્લેને તમે બે ટીપી લે. So they modify or આજે સાહેબ 30 થી બદલે 40 યુનિટ લે કારણ કે રબડી ખાધી. So they think as a privilege કે હવે તો આપણે ખવાય એ તો આપણે ટ્રીટમેન્ટ ચાલુ છે. It is important to explain about hypoglycemia to the patient when initiating anti-diabetic regimen. This is very important. If you teach someone how to drive, you have to teach them how to brake. If you don't know how to brake, तो बस accelerate करने का मतलब नहीं. So what is the aim of management of diabetes? To control high blood glucose level and maintain optimum level. We are not coming to the non-diabetic. घना diabetics है ना, एना मगज में एक ख्याल है. अपने 150 शुगर लेवल तो कैसे बदल है? कारण कि वो रेंज जो है diabetes report जैसे 140 के अंदर लाओ, 140 के अंदर लाओ इस पाए तो वो बेबान नहीं जैसे. So you have to teach them what is the target. અને બને ત્યાં સુધી ફાઇલમાં લખવાનું રાખો. બરાબર આ મોડ્યુલ્સ વાંચ્યા પછી મેં એ ટેવ પાડી કે I write in every patient's case કે your fasting should be less than 130, PPBS should be less than 180. You monitor it 15 days. એની કરતા વધારે જાય ને તમારો કોન્ટેક્ટ કરો. બતાવવા આવો એવું નહીં કરો. Just contact. Prevent or delay complication of the diabetes. આ આંકડાની રમત નથી. When you are achieving something, you are doing it for the goal of retarding the complication. Proper drug selection according to the patient's profile. Now, every patient is not equal. Some patients are having nephro problem, some patients are having gastro problem. So in that patients, you have to change the drugs. એવું નહીં કે ભાઈ આવ્યો એટલે ડાઉનિલ આપી દીધી. Which is the scenario in most of the cases. ડાઉનિલ 1 BD આપો, 1 TDS આપો, 2 BD આપો. જ્યાં સુધી કંટ્રોલ બનાવે ત્યાં વધારે કરો. Maintain quality of life and psychological well-being of the patient. If the patient is not happy with the treatment, what you are achieving is at the cost of his quality of life. So you have to give both to the patient, quality of life as well as the good diabetic control. So what is the glycemic goal? What we want to achieve when treating diabetes? HbA1c should be less than 7. So if you multiply by 25, it should be around 175. So your PPBS should be under 175. The preprandial capillary plasma glucose. Capillary means glucometer. This is the glucometer. It should be between 80 to 130. Forget the millimoles. And peak postprandial capillary should be less than 180. This is the marginally good control. If you are achieving a fasting of less than 130, PPBS of less than 180, forget about the figures. This is the best control you achieved in your patient. Now, there are two types of patients. One who doesn't have any complications. A normal young man who comes to you for a diabetic treatment. In them, achieve the HbA1c of less than 6.5. You comes to euglycemia as near as possible. But suppose a patient is having severe stroke, he is having nephropathy, he has history of myocardial infarction. In these patients, if you are having too tight control, then every hypoglycemic episode will predispose the patient to a new severe stroke, a new MI. So be cautious in this. And you achieve a target of more than 6.5. It is justified. So tailor your therapy. If a patient is young, there are no end organ damage, he has no albuminuria, he has no nephropathy, he has no myocardial infarction in the past, then achieve a target of less than 6.5. But in older patients, be little bit liberal and go like 7, 7.5, but not more than that. So what are the challenges in anti-diabetic patients? 50% of patients are undiagnosed. Suppose you do a medical camp in Yashwant and Natyagu and people come and you do the screening of the patient. Out of them, around 30% will come diabetic and they will know it for the first time. Because the community is still not aware. They are not revealed that a diabetic patient can also have no symptoms at all. 50% of patients receiving chronic illness regimen don't adhere. Now this is the scenario. 50% ને ખબર નથી કે ડાયાબિટીસ છે. જેને ખબર છે એમાંથી 50% દવા લેતા નથી અને જે દવા લે છે એમાંથી 60% કંટ્રોલમાં નથી. So what we are doing, we are just આ છે ને સાહેબ પેલા સૂત્રાઓ કપડાના સેલ જેવું છે કે જેમાં વેચનારને જ ફાયદો છે, લેનારને કઈ ફાયદો જ નથી. So ડાયાબિટીસ બનાવવામાં એ મજા છે. પેશન્ટને બિચારાને કંટ્રોલ રહેવાનો જ નથી. તમે ઓલા સ્કિન વાળા કેમ આ ખજોળ આવે તો લિવોસેટ્રેજિન એટલે ફેક્સોકેનેડિન એડ કરે. So our duty is that these 60% should reduce. There are more and more patients who are adherent to the therapy. They should be good control. As an outfall. ઉપરના બેસી પેશન્ટ આપો 50% ને ખબર નથી અને જે ખબર છે એમાંથી 50% દવા લેતા નથી. That is the problem of a community. But જે દવા લે છે એમાં 60% ના ગ્લાયસેમિક ગોલ અચીવ નથી. That is the fault of clinicians and educators. There is no fault of patient in that. So what are the available therapeutic options? આપણી પાસે કઈ કઈ દવાઓ છે, કયા હથિયારો છે જેનાથી આપણે ડાયાબિટીસ સામે લડીએ છીએ? We have sulfonylureas. હવે આ નામ છે ને એ બહુ અઘરું છે. સલ્ફોનાઇલ્યુરિયા એટલે પેશન્ટ છે ભડકે, સાહેબ મને સલ્ફાની એલર્જી છે. સલ્ફા વપરાતી ઘણા વર્ષે બંધ થઈ ગઈ. But the fact and beauty is that these drugs were derived from the sulfur. Therefore the name is sulfonylurea. And the antibiotics has somewhat connection with the diabetes. Quinolones are having anti-diabetic action. Sulfonylureas are derived from the sulfur. So this sulfonylurea, they act on the sodium-potassium channel and thereby facilitate the entry of calcium inside the beta cells of Langerhans, and by that the insulin is produced. Which are the drugs available? Forget about the glibenclamide, it is out. Don't use Downhill, glucorate, Fort, etc., etc., etc. They are totally banned. Don't use it. What are the three drugs which we have to use in control of the diabetes? Is glimepiride, glipizide, and gliclazide. Out of these three, the glimepiride is given once a day, glipizide is given thrice a day, but book says if you give once a day, you get a better results. And the gliclazide is a very good novel molecule because it doesn't have any cardiac interaction. It is said that sulfonylurea also blocks the sodium-potassium channels of the heart, so it also affects the contraction of the heart. But the gliclazide doesn't do that. So if you are a patient of CCF, ischemic heart disease, that gliclazide is the drug of choice. The only sulfonylurea which has proved itself reducing the mortality in the patients of diabetes is gliclazide. So therefore, all the data which are available to reduce the morbidity and mortality are of gliclazide. So prefer that drug. The problem is it is a bit costly. So you can use the glipizide and the glimepiride, which are more used, which are quite economical. Thiazolidones, or we call the glitazones. Only pioglitazone is available in the market. Previously the rosiglitazone was there, but there are some controversies. We will go to it later on. The alpha glucosidase inhibitors, Decarbose and Voglibose. આપણે ઘર ના લાગે, કલકત્તામાંથી આવ્યા લેવા. These are the drugs which are very useful. We will see to it. The DPP4 inhibitors, the new class of drugs, જે મહિલા કોલેજમાંથી આવ્યા એવા લાગે. Vildagliptin, sitagliptin, linagliptin, saxagliptin. So they are the drugs which are very costly drugs, costing around 45-50 rupees. Patient ने tablet લીધા પછી ઉલટી થાય તો ફોન કરે સાહેબ ધોઈને ખાઈ જાઓ. They are so much costly drugs. And GLP-1 analogs. GLP-1 analogs are also very costly drugs. The hexaconide and liraglutide are the injections which are available, to be taken subcutaneous once a day. And the new class of drugs which have come into the market and which has directly gone into the controversy by increasing the mortality by fulminant hepatic failure, or SGLT2 receptor blockers. These are the canagliflozin, dapagliflozin, and empagliflozin. Whenever I read these type of drugs, I thank God that I passed at very right time, because these are very difficult to remember. And the insulins. Insulins, we have the short acting, intermediate acting, long acting, and the analogs. We will cover each and every in very basic aspects. So if we see the oral anti-diabetes, now this oral hypoglycemic agents, OHS, the name is a problem. Oral hypoglycemic agent એટલે તમે hypoglycemia કરવા માટે આપો છો. The name should be oral euglycemic agents, but the misnomer is oral hypoglycemic agent. So oral antibiotic drug is the better option. Metformin, the king, Shahanshah of diabetic treatment. It reduces the hepatic glucose production. As we say in the first module, that whenever the glucose is in excess, it is converted into a glycogen. Now that is increased by the metformin, and there is reduction in the insulin resistance. How it does, nobody knows. But it works at the adipose tissue, muscles and liver and reduces the insulin resistance. Sulfonylurea we also call insulin secretologs, because they secrete the insulin from the beta cells. But this is the problem. This will act only when the beta cells are working. This is like giving areas to a working person. If he is able to work, then and then he will work. So they stimulate the beta cells in the pancreas to increase insulin secretion. There are another class of drugs called the ripaglenide and netaglenide. They work with the same way, and how they are different we will see. Thiazolidones, pioglitazone is reduce the insulin resistance in the body tissues. It is a wonderful drug, but it has been cursed like anything. The alpha glucosidase inhibitors, they reduce the absorption of carbohydrates from the intestine. What they do is, they inhibit the alpha glucosidase enzymes in the enterocytes so that the carbohydrate absorption is slow or it is retarded. DPP-4 inhibitors, we have seen during the physiology of the diabetes that these are the enzymes which cleaves the incretins. So they are inhibited, so the incretin half-life is increased and therefore the insulin production is increased. GLP-1 agonists, they stimulate the secretion of the incretins. They are very good molecules and they also induce weight loss. If you have 140 kg and you put the patient on the incretin, you will lose 40 or 60 kg weight by just incretins. And SGLT2 receptor inhibitors. Now this is something which will increase the mucosa in the bathroom. What they do is, they block the SGLT2 receptors in the kidney, so patient gets more glycosuria. એટલા માટે હવે યુરિન શુગર બંધ કરાવો. બરાબર, SGLT2 ઉપર 150 ઉપર 4 ચોકડી આવે એટલે માથું ખાઈ જાય કે સાહેબ 4 ચોકડી, because you are getting more sugar excreted in the kidneys. So this is the mechanism of action. These are controversial drugs. Still they are controversial. We will see how. So what is the mechanism of action? The biguanides and the glitazones, they act on the liver. The GLP-1 incretins, they act on the pancreas. Also the sulfonylureas, the ripaglinide and metaglinide, they increase the insulin production. The alpha glucosidase inhibitors, they act on the small intestine, the alpha glucosidase enzyme, and they retard the glucose absorption or the carbohydrate absorption. And the skeletal and adipose tissue, the glitazones and biguanides, that is the metformin, they act on this to reduce the insulin resistance. So what is the expected form? બરાબર, કોઈ પણ સ્ટુડન્ટ સારો છે એમ નહીં, એને કેટલા પર્સન્ટેજ છે, A+ છે, A- છે, A છે, this is a era of grades. So how potent any anti-diabetic molecule is? If you give a alpha glucosidase inhibitor, you will expect a fall of HbA1c of 0.5 to 0.8%. That is 25 to 40 milligram of blood sugar, not more than that. So a patient comes to you with 300 milligram of ppbs and you give alpha glucosidase inhibitor, it will come around 275 or 260. Don't expect a miracle. Biguanides, when you give a biguanides, that's metformin, you expect a fall of 1 to 2%. That is around 25 to 50 milligram of a fall. Now look at this. The secretagogues, that is all your glinase, glimepiride, GP1, etc., etc. They also cause fall of 1 to 2%. So, if you see the potency of action, then metformin and sulfonylureas are equal. Practically what we think, that sulfonylureas are more potent, and practically we are right also. But when you give it as a chronic use, the fall of HbA1c is equal, 1 to 2%, that is 25 to 50 milligram of sugar only. If you give insulin sensitizers like glitazones, you expect a fall of 0.5 to 1.4%. So that is equivalent to 7.5 to around 30 milligram, not more than that. With glitazone you get this much fall in the blood sugar. So the concept of thinking is, when you give a metformin, the patient theoretically should not have a hypoglycemia. When you give a pioglitazone, the patient theoretically should not have hypoglycemia. This is to be remembered when you give metformin to a patient of polycystic ovary disease. Because sometimes patient will ask, sir, મને diabetes નથી, મેં PCOD માં metformin આપ્યું, તો મને hypo નહીં થઈ જાય. It will not cause hypoglycemia. GLP-1 agonist, a very costly drug. What is the fall you are achieving? 0.5 to 1%. DPP-4, what is the fall you are achieving? 0.5 to 8%. And SGLT2, what you are achieving is 0.5 to 0.9. Now the question is, if you have a good molecule like sulfonylureas, if you have got a good molecule like metformin which are achieving 1 to 2%, what the hell we are doing with these costly agents achieving 0.5 to 0.9 and 1%? Now there are some fun and there is some logic behind using these agents. Now this is a very busy slide, don't go to it. These type of slides I hate. The person who is speaking is confused, the people who are listening are also confused. And these are all the European people and American people. What they think is, the doctor who is sitting in his chamber treating the patient has this chart in front of him. What they do, 1 agent, 2 agent, 3 agent, 4 agent, add on, and ultimately you achieve the goal. So we will make it as simple as possible. This is equally busy slide. So first we see the biguanides or metformin. It is available in 250, 500, 850 and 1000 milligram, and it is available in plain form and sustained release form. Why the sustained release form? There are two things. One is human approach, or what we call the patient-centric approach. The sustained release causes less GI irritation. It has abdominal discomfort, diarrhea and nausea. As I said in the first lecture, there are two classes of people in the diabetic community. Who are lucky, they tolerate the metformin, and those who are unlucky, they don't tolerate the metformin. And those who untolerate the metformin, their blood sugar control is a hell. So problem is, patient gas થાય આપણા ગામમાં મસ્ત બહુ problems. They get too much gas, they have abdominal discomfort, colic, and they get diarrhea, nausea. So if a patient of chronic constipation comes to you and you give metformin, he is in heaven. બરાબર? But પેલા આપણા ભાસ્કર બેનર્જીને આપી દીધી હોત પીકુમાં તો he would have been very happy. આ બધું કામ લાગ્યું. So always take with this. Now this is a concept that whenever you prescribe a metformin, give a instruction to the patient that this tablet has to be taken with meals. This word has changed. Initially it was after meals. Pehla after metformin mata after meals. Now the combinations are coming in market. A metformin plus sulfonylurea, metformin plus ripaglinide. So in that case, you can take before meal also, because these are sustained release preparation. It doesn't make any difference whether you take before meals, after meals or with meals. You take it with meals. And maximum recommended dose is 2.5 gram. So if you give 850 milligram thrice a day, that is the maximum dose you can achieve with the metformin. Don't go beyond that. You can give 1 gram 3 times a day. You can go up to 3 grams. But the adverse effect like lactic acidosis, they are apparent when you use this much high dose. So don't use. The comments is GI discomfort can be reduced if you start with a low dose. As I told you, the sustained release metformin has two facets. One is for the patient-centric. Second is pharma-centric. Why? Because metformin came under DPCO. It is under price control. So if you want to sell a metformin, you have to sell it at 70%, not more than that. So what they do? Extended release, sustained release, and then they sell at 2 rupees, 2 rupees 50 paisa. This is the gimmick behind making it some drug. They give a double strands or fort. These all things are for pharma gimmicks. The GI discomfort, the best thing, suppose a patient of metformin comes to you with GI disturbance. Always start with a low dose, but I don't agree. Start with full dose. Give 500 milligram 3 times a day or 2 grams straight away. What you have to do is give a tablets like Librex or a Normaxin or any dicyclomine content. This will reduce intestinal colic. Give it for 15 days, gradually taper and withdraw. The patient will have best tolerance of the metformin. I use it routinely. Most of the time I don't give, but when the patient comes, પૂછવા વાળા બહુ આવે છે ઓપીડી. 80% બતાવો હોય, 20% પૂછવા વાળા હોય. ST ની ઇન્ક્વાયરી બારી જોતી હોય ને આપણે એક બારી ખુલી રાખે. એ સાહેબ આનાથી તો ઝાડા થઈ જાય, પેટમાં ચૂક. Then you give Normaxin or Librex. The patient will get tolerance and he will just accept the metformin gradually. Sulfonylurea, as I told you, the glimepiride is the most novel agent, and start with 0.5. If you have got a patient whose blood sugar is around 220, first time diagnosed, don't go straight away by glimepiride 1 plus metformin 500 daily. No. You give full dose of metformin, 1.5 gram or 2 gram. But if he is not controlled with a metformin, 1.5 gram or 2 gram, you add 0.5 milligram of glimepiride. 0.5 milligram, 2 or 3 drugs are available. One of them is GP, that is GP 0.5, and Flexiglin 0.5. These are the two drugs which are available at 0.5 strength. 0.5, 1, 2, 3 and 4 milligram. 4 is the maximum strength. You cannot go beyond 4. If the patient is not controlled with 4 milligram, forget it. You make it 6 or you make it 8, doesn't make any sense. Glibenclamide out, so I will not speak. It is all your downhills and everything and glucoride fort, because it has got a grave risk of hypoglycemia. And it is a beta cell exhausting drug. If you give a downhill, the patient will end up in 3 years with insulin. So don't use these drugs. Glipizide, which is also coming in extended release form. Now in this, why extended release? As I told you, when you give sulfonylurea and OD dosage, they works better. So if you give Glynis 5 milligram 1 TDS, instead of that, if you give 10 milligram sustained release 1/2 OD, then it will work better. So sustained release preparation, it is available in 2.5, 5, 40 milligram. Maximum dose is 20. Don't go beyond that. If you use 10 milligram sustained release twice before breakfast, that's all. You cannot go beyond that. The gliclazide, as I told you, it's a novel agent which doesn't have any cardiac side effect, and it is available in plain form and extended release form. Plain form is available in 40 and 80 mg, and extended release is available in 60 and 120 mg. Contraindications, everywhere it is written pregnancy, but the new guidelines say you can use glibenclamide in pregnancy. Why glibenclamide? Because the studies are only with that. No other drugs have been studied. But Salman Khan picture ala to Shahrukh Khan wale. So in that way, you can use all oral hypoglycemic drugs in a pregnant patient, but not right now. You can use it practically, you can use it theoretically, but you cannot use it legally. The hypertension patient, CPMIQ, you are in trouble. You have to give insulin to a pregnant patient. Pioglitazones. Initially there are two drugs, pioglitazone, rosiglitazone available in the market. The rosiglitazone has been banned and it has been withdrawn. Pioglitazone is still with us. The strengths are 7.5, 15 and 30 mg. Maximum dose is 45 mg, but practically don't go beyond 15. There is no fun you can achieve than going more than 50 mg. Liver disease, heart failure, renal disease and active bladder cancer. These are the contraindications. So if a patient comes to you with dyspnea and exertion, there are some pedal edemas, palpable liver, and you are thinking that patient is having CCF, don't use pioglitazone. What they do is, they do the fluid retention. So more and more fluid is drawn inside the body and the patient lands up in cardiac failure, severe pulmonary edema. Same thing, when you give pioglitazone to the patient, खास करके lady patients that blouse pit thighs. Why? Because it does the redistribution of the fat cells. Belly, abdominal fat is distributed towards the periphery. What we call the centrifugal distribution of the fat. The central fat goes towards the periphery. So the arms becomes thick and the body, the main body becomes thin. That is the redistribution of the fat cell. It causes the weight gain. The biggest problem of the pioglitazone is, I have seen 35 kg of weight gain in a patient. She was given 30 mg 3 times a day by a clinician. So 90 mg she was achieving and she gained around 45 kg of weight with the pioglitazone. Fluid retention, the patient can go into the CCF, edema, anemia, fractures. The pioglitazone's main problem is fractures of the long bones like humerus, tibia. So these are the problems with the pioglitazone. So it is better to do on and off phenomena. What we do is we give 3 years pioglitazone, stop it for 1 year. Again give 3 years, stop it for 1 year. Another thing you achieve with this start and stop phenomena is risk of bladder cancer. If you use 15 mg of pioglitazone in a patient, he is at risk of developing bladder cancer after 30 years by accumulating effect. So you do stop and start therapy. So this patient will not have that problem with the pioglitazone. It has a risk of developing a bladder cancer. The drug should not be used as a first line therapy. Suppose a patient comes to you with 200 mg of blood sugar. This is not a drug of choice by BIOS 15 layer. No. It is a drug which you have to use for second line. When the patient is not controlled with sulfonylurea, metformin, then you add on as a second line or third line therapy. Patients with active bladder cancer don't use it. Suppose a patient is having history of hematuria and don't know the cause of the hematuria, don't prescribe the drug. And periodic review for the safety. As I told you, when the patient is on pioglitazone, always auscultate. Any basal rise, whether the patient is going towards CCL, withdraw the drug. And don't use with insulin. When you use pioglitazone with the insulin, the patient will have tremendous weight gain, 15 kg, 20 kg. So don't use with the insulin. Theoretically and practically also it gives excellent results, but it has a grave problem of weight gain. The alpha glucoside inhibitors, as I told you, they like near to us, the acarbose and voglibose. The acarbose is available in 25 and 50 mg tablets. The voglibose is 0.2 and 0.3 mg. They inhibit the enzyme which is available on the enterocytes. The contraindication is chronic intestinal disorders. If the patient is having ulcerative colitis, if the patient has malabsorption syndrome, don't prescribe these drugs. Severe hepatic and renal disease. If the patient's SGPT is too much high or his renal function is too much deteriorated, if the estimated GFR, I will tell you how to calculate the estimate GFR, is less than 20 or 30, don't prescribe these alpha glucoside inhibitors. They cause severe GI disturbance, flatulence, colics. The patient say, "Yes, I paid my kharbanaat machi gyo." These are the problems with the back. And same strategy. Give antispasmodic diacyclopidone or nursing type of combination for 15-30 days. Then gradually withdraw. The patient will accept the drug. Indian brands, if you see the acarbose, the glucobase, ribose, and if you see the voglibose, the PPG, volibo, these are all the drugs which are available as acarbose and voglibose.
DPP4 inhibitors, these are the costly drugs, new drugs, and as I told you, their action is, they are reducing the GHB, the HbA1c only 0.5 to 8.8%. Why we are giving? These are the beta cell saving drugs. They don't give strength to the beta cell. They are not secretomodes which are secreting insulin from the beta cell. So they are just inhibiting a DPP4 and thereby increasing the half-life of incretin, and thereby it is producing the insulin. The vildagliptin is available as 50 and 100 milligram. Planlesa, Galbus, Chalba, Zometis, drug ka the brand name agara. Sitagliptin, Januvia, Zita, Saxagliptin is Onclisa, and linagliptin is Trajecta. Linagliptin is used OD, Sita and Vilda is used BD, and what are the contraindication is known hypersensitivity. Now, how can you say it's a known hypersensitivity? Pehli baar aapko tera patient hum tattoo lene aaye ho to hypersensitivity hai. Hepatic end-stage renal disease, don't use it. But now the papers are there that whenever the patient is having renal dysfunction, this is drug of choice. The only problem is these drugs can produce severe pancreatitis in a few, around 1 to 2% of cases. But it's a very permanent pancreatitis. So any patient having history of pancreatitis in past, don't prescribe these drugs. Another concern is they reduce the our immune status of the respiratory tract. So it is said that whenever you prescribe DPP4 inhibitors, the patient comes to you with upper respiratory infection, pharyngitis more and more. And another concern is they can cause tuberculosis reactivation. If a patient had tuberculosis in past, and if you give DPP4, because the DPP4 enzyme is also on the T lymphocyte is there, so it also suppresses that enzyme, and that will prone to the reactivation of the COX. But so many studies have shown that that concern is out. Don't think about the COX reactivation, just think about the upper respiratory tract, repeated infections in few patients with DPP4 inhibitors. GLP-1, most of the time we are not using it, but just remember the name, hexapenide and liraglutide, two preparations are there. They are available in subcutaneous, and the problem is again diarrhea, abdominal discomfort, because DPP4 and GLP-1, where they act? Intestine, because they have to deal with the incretins. So it will give all the intestinal side effects. The SGLT2 receptor antagonist, as I told you, these are the new class of drugs. They block the SGLT2 receptor on the tubule, renal tubule, distal tubules. Therefore, they induce glycosuria. More and more glucose is passed. So, theoretically, what they should have, suppose I give SGLT2 receptor blocker to the patient, what problem it will cause? That is the thing. It doesn't cause polyuria because your blood sugar is not increased. Polyuria is because of the osmotic rise in the blood, not because of the osmotic rise in the urine. So it doesn't cause the polyuria, but it causes genital infection. It causes melanoprostatis, it causes vaginitis, candida infection, because your blood, the sugar contained in the urine is more. That is the problem with the SGLT. And the trials have shown a fulminant hepatic failure in few. So one of the SGLT2 has already been blocked. We don't know about the rest. But this is a new class of drug. It is already available in our market, and few of the patients are taking it. And it is not that much potent. It is just reducing 0.5 to 0.8%. So treatment intensification. By who knows that so please stay aware. If the goals have not been reached within 2 to 3 months, medication should be revised. It is not like कि भाई आपने glandules आपी दी, patient आया वो वर्दी सोनो बस होती, काय वांदो जब सागर आगे से धीमे-धीमे. This is not या धीमे-धीमे था. बराबर? This is not that Shahrukh Khan song के होले-होले से दवा लगते हैं. No. You have to intensify. Drug choice should be based on patient preference, disease and drug characteristics. Now suppose a patient is having a very hectic lifestyle. He leaves his home at 7 a.m. in the morning, comes back at 11 in the night, and you say कि आप breakfast पहला 20 मिनट लेवानी, lunch पहला 20 मिनट लेके साय, वो lunch क्या लो इन्हें क्या नहीं हो? How can you prescribe a drug to that patient which he has to take for 20 minutes? Suppose a patient is airline, he is the pilot, or he is driving a bus, or he is a railway driver. Then you have to modify the treatment option. ये उन्हें क्या है पता नहीं. शिक्षकों ने आपको क्या वांदो नहीं. अने ये बहुत particular है तो 20 मिनट के तो अपने अलार्म मुके ने दिया मोबाइल में 20 मिनट की घंटी वाले क्या रहते हो? Drug medical कॉलेज नहीं हो मैडम. Drug should so it should be on patient preference. This is a drug characteristic with the goal of reducing blood to minimize the side effects especially hypoglycemia. Your goal should be euglycemia without hypoglycemia. There should not be a single episode of hypoglycemia in patient's life. If you can achieve it, you are the Bhishma Pitama of diabetes. For all patients, consider initiating therapy with dual combination when HbA1c is more than 9. We are not going to HbA1c direct, but just calculate. When the patient is coming to you with more than 250, always give combination. Bravo. If a patient comes to you with less than 250, try with metformin. You start with metformin, tell the patient to come after 1 month and see. ઘણા ને અઠવાડિયા છે કરવાનું કેવું. મારે એક પેશન્ટ છે આખું આમ ગ્રાફ દોરી નાખે. અહીંથી આમ શરૂ થયું આમ થયું આમ થયું. And whatever the patient brings to you, એને ભાઈ થોડું જુઓ. બરાબર એને તમે કીધું કે બ્લડ શુગર કર્યા કરે. એ બિચારો આમ મહિનાનું લખીને આવતો કે ઠીક છે. થઈ જાય કે આ હું. તો એટલીસ્ટ ભલે મગજથી નહીં પણ આંખથી તો થોડી વાર જુઓ. Insulin should be added if necessary to reach the target level. This is most important thing. Patient તો જેટલા ઇન્સ્યુલિન થી ડરે છે ને એના કરતા ડોક્ટરો વધારે ડરે છે. જો આનું ઇન્સ્યુલિન ચાલુ કરીશ તો આ બીજે જતો રહેશે. હા બીજે જતો રહેશે ની જે બીક છે ને, it is the worst thing in medical profession. સાહેબ કિસ્મતમાં જેટલું હશે ને એટલું આવવાનું છે. So don't get feared કે જતો રહેશે. 2 or more oral glucose lowering medicine that have different mechanism of action should be combined. હવે આ ખાસ ગ્લાયનેસ સવારે, ક્લિમિપ્રાઇડ બપોરે અને ડાઉન સાંજે. આ પ્રિસ્ક્રિપ્શન ફિઝિશિયનોને જોઈએ છે. So that doesn't serve any purpose. અમિતાભ અભિષેક ના ઐશ્વર્ય હારે હોય એવા પિક્ચરો નથી બનતા છે. So what are the common combinations that we use in day-to-day practice? Glimepiride metformin is the most beautiful, the most practical, and ORG number 1. ORG number 1. તો કયું glimepiride metformin? Glycomet GP, Jamar, etc. Zoril 1. જેમાં 1+500, 2+500 આ સાઈડ છે ને, અમે મેથ્સ ભણતા ને એટલે મીન્સ આપણે સોરી ત્યારે એમ થતું થોડું મેડિકલમાં એવું છે મેથ્સ કેમ ભણવાનું. હવે સમજાય છે આ બધા આંકડાઓ અને ઘડિયા છે ને હવે જુદા થઈ ગયા. 1.5, 2.5, 3.5, 1.850, 2.850, 1,1000. હવે આ બધું યાદ રાખો. Glimepiride and metformin, forget, but still there are brand names: Glucorate, Diavitrol, Duotrol, Gliclazide metformin, Glycidam, Dynomam, Dibidem, the economically scheduled by Blue Cross, just costing ₹2.25. Glipizide metformin, Glyazide, the highest selling DPCO, 70 paisa per tablet. Now this is the beauty. Glyazide लो तो 70 पैसा नहीं आवे. Metformin sustained ले जाओ तो 1.70. So when the drug is under DPCO, it is a boon. 5 liters of metformin, you get 5 mf, 5 mf. Again, start with 7.5 plus 500. Suppose you want to give 15 plus 1 gram combination, use 7.5 500 PD. Okay? So 7.5 500, 15 plus 500, don't go beyond that. 30 ke 45 automatically aapne zarur nathi. Voglibose plus metformin. Now India is a country of combinations. We have Diclo plus Rabiprazole plus Serratiopeptidase. Any action aave, anu reaction aave, બધું જ combine થઈ જાય. So this is the only country where this type of હવે છે ને સાહેબ અમારે ફાર્મેકમાં બંને પેલા આપણે પેલા વસોટિયા આવતા કે ઇમલ્સન બનાવવાનું. હવે આ લોકોને ઇરેશનલ કોમ્બિનેશન્સ આવે છે. સેકન્ડ એમબીબીએસ માં પ્રિસ્ક્રિપ્શન લખ્યું આમાં શું ખોટું છે તો છોકરાઓ કહેવા હવે સેકન્ડ એમબીબીએસ તો એક જણ બતાવો મને કે સાહેબ ડાયરિયા થઈ ગયો ઓસન ઓલો મને કે સાહેબ આ ઇરેશનલ કોમ્બિનેશન છે તો ભાઈ ઇરેશનલ છે પણ પ્રેક્ટિકલી તારે વાપરવું પડશે. So Voglibose and metformin. The beauty is Voglibose is 0.2, metformin is 500. હવે આમાં માઈનસ માઈનસ પ્લસ ના થાય છે આ મેથેમેટિક્સ નથી. Voglibose થી બી ડાયરિયા થશે અને metformin થી બી ડાયરિયા થશે. Gliptin plus metformin, like Vitagliptin, Saxagliptin, they combine with the metformin. 3 combination: Glimepiride plus metformin plus pioglitazone. 1 plus 500 plus 15. હજી આ તો કાંઈ સમજાય સાહેબ પણ મને આ હજી ન સમજાય. Metformin plus Glimepiride plus Voglibose. તમારે Glimepiride OD આપવાની છે, metformin TDS આપવાની છે, Voglibose BD આપવાની. આ ત્રણેયને કેમ કમ્બાઈન કરાય? એટલે પેશન્ટ શું કહેવાનું આ પહેલા ભૂખ્યા પેટે લેજે, પછી metformin પછી બપોરે જમીન લેજે અને Voglibose બપોરે રાતે 2 વાર લેજે. So it makes life more complicated. So this type of combination are totally irrational, but these are the practical combinations which you can use. Now a case, a 55-year-old male with long-standing diabetes comes to the diabetologist for consultation. His blood sugar was not controlled with metformin plus sulfonylurea. Suppose he was taking Glyazide MF 1 TPS and he is not controlled. The doctor added Voglibose glucose, TID, and the doctor has referred this patient to you. A very rare scenario, where he has prescribed and he has referred. કે આને સમજાવો. Problem is, આપણે કોઈ કે સમજાવતો જ નથી. હું નથી સમજાવતો. કારણ કે કેમ સમજાવો? The problem is time. Everyone has 24 hours. એમાં પાછું ઘણા બધા આપણા duties છે. So એમાં list અહીંયા. He was also advised diet control and exercise. How do you explain the importance of newly added Vogley boost? કઈ રીતે સમજાવશો? Now, one of the leading physician of Bhavnagar is having a misconception કે જ્યારે પેશન્ટને ખાંડ ખાવાની જ નથી તો તમે Vogley boost કેમ આપો છો? Why? ભાઈ ખાંડ એકલી કાર્બોહાઈડ્રેટ નથી. There is no food available on the earth which doesn't have a carbohydrate. બરાબર છે? 12મીમાં ભણ્યા હતા કે ગ્લુકોઝ પ્લસ ગ્લાયકોઝ એટલે લેક્ટોઝ, ગ્લુકોઝ પ્લસ ગ્લુકોઝ એટલે માલ્ટોઝ, ગ્લુકોઝ પ્લસ આ એટલે આ. So every carbohydrate has a glucose. Okay? So you are giving Vogley boost or acarbose for this. So how do you tell the patient? બરાબર પહેલા તો વખાણ કરવાનું. ડોક્ટર સાહેબે તમને બહુ સરસ કરવાનું. Now, what instruction you will give to the patient? This drug has to be taken with first bolus of food. Preferably it should be chewed. Why? કે તમે એને ભૂકો કરીને લેશો તો એ આલ્ફા ગ્લુકોસાઇડેઝ એન્ઝાઇમ મારે વહેલું ચોંટશે. બરાબર? ધારો કે પેશન્ટે જમી લીધું અડધી કલાક પછી એને Vogley boost યાદ આવી તો તમારા આલ્ફા ગ્લુકોસાઇડેઝ તો એન્ઝાઇમ તો એક્ટિવ હતા, ત્યાંથી બધું વયું પછી તમે એટેચ કરીને શું કરશો? So tell the patient to take Vogley boost with the first bolus of food, preferably chewed. Acarbose is totally tasteless compound. હવે આ બધી ડ્રગ ટેબ્લેટ માઉથ ડિસોલ્વિંગ આવે છે, સબલિંગ્યુઅલ માઉથ ડિસોલ્વિંગ. એટલે એવું ના માનતા કે સલાઈવામાં જઈને બ્લડમાં ભળી જશે. There is no role of these agents. લોહીમાં ભળવાની એને કાંઈ નિસ્બત નથી because they act locally. So what happens is mouth dissolving dissolves in mouth and goes to the intestine. એવું ના માનતા કે માઉથ ડિસોલ્વિંગ એટલે બધું સલાઈવામાં જાય. It just dissolves. હવે એક તો યાર તમે પેશન્ટને વર્ષોથી કહો છો ગળ્યું ખામાં અને આ ટેબ્લેટ્સ they are 10 times sweeter than the sugar. તો Vogley boost એક ચીમ નીચે મૂકો તો જણજણાટી આવી. Therefore, as far as possible, use the plain Vogley boost, not the sublingual Vogley boost. There are best is Vogleyson. Unison વાળા કઈ આડું કરતા નથી. Plain આપી દો અને patient tell the patient to chew. Now what instruction you will give to the patient about the adverse effect of the drugs? હવે આ છે ને એ blessing in disguise. તમે કહેશો ને એટલે થશે જ. Perineum dyskinesia maximum medical professional થાય. કેમ? કારણ કે લેન ત્યારે ખબર હોય આ રિએક્શન આવતી. So if you instruct the patient કે આમાં પેટમાં ગેસ થશે, પેટમાં ચૂક આવશે, નહીં આવે તો એ રાહ જોશે કે આવું ન આવે. But instruct the patient કે ભાઈ આમાં થોડી ઘણી પેટમાં ગરબડ થાય તો 4-5 દિવસ પૂછવા નહીં આવતો તો ચાલશે, નહીતર બીજે દિવસે માથું ખાવા આવશે. બરાબર? એકેટી વાળા પેશન્ટને પહેલા દિવસે કહી દેવાનું કેસરી પેશાબ આવશે, લાલ પેશાબ આવશે, થોડી ઘણી ઉલટી થશે, બહુ થાય તો મળશે. બરાબર? જો બહુ થાય તો એને એકેટી ઇન્ડ્યુસ જોન્ડિસથી ચાલુ હતી. So instruct the patient like this. Now the main thing, insulin. Saurabhai, can you? I will give an insulin syringe and distilled water to everyone, including me, and we will prick ourselves. कोई मानता नहीं? Because this is the thing we are doing in every symposium. If you don't know how to take insulin by self, you are not going to give it properly to a patient, and you are not going to instruct the patient properly. When will you start the insulin? In type 1, every patient. Type 1 માં કોઈ patient insulin વગરનું નહીં હોય. Therefore, we call it a insulin dependent diabetes mellitus. હવે જેમ insulin dependent diabetes mellitus છે ને, insulin dependent diabetic clinician હોય છે. અમુક clinician આવે ને થર્ડ કે આમ યુરોપિયન સોસાયટી ઓફ ડાયાબિટીસના એવા ક્રાઇટેરિયા છે કે મોર ધેન 9 હોય એટલે યુ હેવ ટુ સ્ટાર્ટ ઇન્સ્યુલિન. પણ સાહેબ આ માણસ સામે જુઓ, આનો 3000નો પગાર છે અને ઇન્સ્યુલિન થેરાપી ઇઝ ગોઈંગ ટુ કોસ્ટ 1500 rupees. Failure to achieve glycemic control with diet, exercise and oral medication. When the patient is already on diet, most of the time they are not, but we believe that they are. We believe that they are doing regular exercise. They are on maximum dose of sulfonylurea. Suppose they are taking 20 mg of glipizide, 1.5 g of metformin, and still his blood sugar is 200, 250, HbA1c is more than 8 or 8.5. At that time, the only option is insulin. Now, just go slow. મારી લેવું જ પડશે, નહીં લો તો કિડની ફેલ થઈ જશે. જો બાબા બેઠાના પગ કાપી નાખે. Not like that. Go slow. ભાઈ આ લેવું પડશે. Just tell a practical thing. કે પાણી તમારા ઘરે પાણી ન આવે તમે બહારથી ભરો છો, બાજુમાં લેવા જાવ છો. Same way the insulin is not now produced in your body. So we will take insulin and suppose 3 months 4 months પાણી ભરાવતું થઈ ગયું, we stop the insulin. It is not a permanent thing. Patients with contraindications to anti-diabetic medication. આવા ઘણા છે સર. I have seen 3 cases of Stevenson-Johnson syndrome with sulfonylurea. Patients who are sensitive to sulfur, who doesn't tolerate sulfonylurea, you have to give insulin. You can give ripaglinide, netaglinide, they are not sulfur derivatives, but still, patient not tolerating metformin, you have to give insulin. So some class of patients who are intolerant or allergic to the oral anti-diabetic drugs, pregnant patient, all pregnancy of diabetes has to be treated with insulin. Patients undergoing major surgery. Next Sunday, I am taking a lecture of anesthetist, how to treat diabetes in intra. મોટા ભાગના કેટલા લોકો નર્સિંગ હોમમાં કામ કરે છે? So you all know sliding scale. 150 થી 200 હોય તો 4 મિનિટ, 200 થી 250 હોય તો 6 મિનિટ, 250 થી 300 હોય તો 8 મિનિટ. હવે આમાં કન્સલ્ટન્ટ ફરે એક સાઈડ રાઉન્ડ લઈને ગયા હોય ને એટલે પાછા 8 10 12 માંથી 12 14 16 વાળા દાખલ થાય. So sliding scale થોડાક સ્લાઇડ્સ તમને હું લેક્ચરની દેખાડીશ when we will talk about the intra management. So what are the conventional insulins which are available in the market? Regular human insulin R or human actrabate, long acting. NPH is only available. Don't look at the Lente and Ultra Lente. They are discontinued unfortunately. Because Ultra Lente was having a very good peakless thing like what we have the long acting analogs. But unfortunately Ultra Lente has been discontinued. We have only NPH. And intermediate acting combination 25-75, 30-70, 50-50. Out of that, the lesser figures are the plain insulin and bigger figures are the long acting insulin. So when you combine 25% of short acting and 75% of long acting, it becomes 25-75. You combine 30-70, that is 30-70, 50-50, that is 50-50. So these are the combinations of the insulin which is available in the market. Now look at the bottle. Patient bottle લઈને આવે તો સાહેબ જુઓ. હા, પેશન્ટ ઘણી વાર જબલું નાખે દવાનું પેપર ઉપર, એમાંથી બે વંદા એક ઓલી બીડી તો બિચારા નથી લાવતા, પણ બચરની ડબ્બી એવું બધું નહીં કરે, એમ સાઈડમાં લેવાનું. Look at the medicines. Sometimes you gain more knowledge by look at the medicines. કેમ? So ગામડાના પેશન્ટ તમને એમ કહેશે કે પીળી દવાથી આમ થયું, લાલ દવા. You should know the size, shape and color of every medicine you have prescribed. બરાબર? તમને પેશન્ટની થેલીઓમાં જોવાનો રસ્તો હોય ને તો એકવાર મેડિકલ સ્ટોરમાં જઈને કલર જોવાનો. ઓલવેઝ લુક એટ ધ કલર એન્ડ શેપ ઓફ ધ ટેબ્લેટ. કારણ કે પેશન્ટ તમને એમ નહીં કે આપણે ક્લાઇમેટ ટીએસથી જાડા થઈ ગયા એવા હોય, પણ 10% એ આપણને ગમે એવા હોય. બટ મોસ્ટ ઓફ ધ ટાઈમ ધ ગુડ ક્લાસ ઓફ પીપલ દે ડોન્ટ નો. સો ઓલવેઝ લુક એટ ધ સેમ વે લુક એટ ધ vial. When the vial is yellow, cap is yellow, it is short acting. When the vial is green, cap is green, it is intermediate acting. And when both are discolored, it is mixture of the two. So rapid acting injection, there are analogs which are available in the market. Now why I am telling you, because now more and more analogs are used in patients who are on OPD base as well as in ICUs. So you should have a knowledge of analogs. Which are the analogs available? Aspart, this is Novo Rapid, it is by Novo. The glulicillin, Epidra, it is available and it is a very good agent for the patients who are on insulin pump. Lispro, Humalog, it is by the Lilly. These are 3 analogs which are short acting, ultra short acting. Ultra short acting, they are 100-meter runners. These are marathon runners, long acting. The Glargine, Lantus, the Datamir, Levenir and the new introduction, Tresiba, Diglutec. Now what is the fun? How they are acting? Suppose તમારી આગળ એક ઘોડો છે અથવા એક ગધેડો છે, તમે એને રસ્તા ઉપર જોયું છે, એને બહુ ઝડપથી ભાગે નહીં, એના માટે એનો માલિક શું કરે? જોયું છે કે બે પગ વચ્ચે દોરો બાંધે અથવા એક પગે વજન બાંધી દે. Now this Lantus is this ગધેડા with a વજન. એનું મોલેક્યુલર વેટ એટલું બધું છે કે એને તમે સબક્યુટસ ઇન્જેક્ટ કરો એટલે ધીમે ધીમે આવે. Therefore it is a long acting insulin. But when you give IV, it becomes normal insulin. So suppose તમારા વોર્ડમાં કોઈ પેશન્ટ ગ્લાર્જિન લઈને આવ્યું અને સિસ્ટર IV ઠોક્યું, તો it will work like actor. It will give severe irritation to the vein in which it was introduced, because it has acidic pH. But when it is given IV, it becomes a normal insulin or a long-acting insulin. When you give it sub-Q, it behaves. Second thing is Betamine and Digluten. How they work? They are like Velcro. Velcro is the boot mane badam. So they stick to the subcutaneous tissue and gradually released. This Digluten has a hexamer. So these are the insulins which you give once a day. They will give the basal. આપણે જ્યારે ઇન્સ્યુલિનની ફિઝિયોલોજી જોઈએ ત્યારે જોયું ને કે 0.5 to 1 unit is secreted per hour, that works as basal, and then